Hey, topping analyze math and history, and we're gonna mess around with histograms. So, in the previous video, we have been taking a look at the Amity duals and mean, median, mode, range, and we were talking about $1 per soda, $4 per popcorn, and $5 per every hot dog. This was at the concession stand, and we were trying to find which item was bought the most, or which item was used or bought the most. In that video, we have been calculating the mode, which means the most. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to find out in a different way which one got the most sales. But this time, we're putting it on a table. And that table is called a bar graph. Bar graphs are really good when you want to find which has the most sales or which has the most, and you categorize them like soda, popcorn, hot dog. You can be creative because it doesn't have to be these three. It could be cheeseburgers, the color red if you're asking what your favorite color is, what's your favorite school utensil, pretty much anything. So when you look at the data above, we have a bunch of numbers, and for every number that you see is actually the price for each food. And for every number, we're going to write a little circle on top of that. Like for example, use a soda, and since we have 1, then we're going to put a circle right here indicating it's 1. The stack with the highest means that's the most sales. So it looks like for the $1 food, which is the soda, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones. So we're going to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circles representing that. That's how many sales the sodas has. So let's look at the popcorn. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 fours. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And with the hot dog, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to write for hot dogs, 1, 2, 3, 4 hot dogs were sold during the Amity duals. So now we can find out which has the most sales, because we got all the data on this bar graph. 1, we're going to say that sodas is the winner because it overtakes them by when you look at the stack. The soda stack has the highest number of sales, so soda wins the amount of sales or food at the concession stand. That is another way we can find the mode, because putting them numerical order is another way we can find the mode, because putting them in order from lowest value to highest value will take some time. Then trying to find what number appears the most. So that is how we can find the mode. But when you do a histogram, it's actually a different kind of table. It's something sort of like this, but it's actually different. But when you're using a bar graph, you're calculating which has the most, but you're categorizing them by different subjects, like soda, popcorn, hot dog. It could be like math, social studies, science. So what is the most? Here's an example when we would use a bar graph.
Alright, now let's see who's going home. Oh, that was close. Any curse words here, John?
If you ever watch Battle for Dream Island, it's a really funny show. And it's from another YouTube channel named Jack NF Jellify. You should really watch his videos. They're really cool. So that's an example of a bar graph, categorizing them in different areas and finding out who has the most. Instead of a bar graph, a histogram looks like this. So instead of measuring what the most is, we're also measuring what the most is for this one. But instead of categorizing them, this is just one category. And instead of having the spaces spaced out from each other, these lines are actually touching each other. With a histograph, this actually allows you to actually put things into groups and put things into ranges, because from here to there is a range, but from bottom to top is the frequency, representing how many of the item is which. Like, if we try doing a histogram for the data we have, soda, popcorn, hot dog will not work, but the frequency will, because this is actually data from a hurricane season from 2005. And when you look at the data, the hurricane season and the wind speed is the only subject, like 75, 80, 80, 90, 95, and you actually get to group them in a histogram. And when you have multiple, like 80 hurricanes, like there are like 3 shown in this video, the frequency or the bar rises up to the top. So what we're gonna do is, to get our data, we're gonna play a game called Big Brain Academy, named and created by Nintendo. So this game is all about using your mind, and you actually get to compete with your friends at your house, or your local area, or even the world. That's at Ghost Clash. But we're gonna do practice. So these are the different mini games that we can play. But since this is a demo, identify, compute, and visualize are the only options. Let's do compute and balloon burst. So pop the balloons in order from lowest to highest. Then we'll get our data.
A few minutes later.
So, in order to get medals, you score points in the game that we just played. And there are different requirements. Like, if you want a silver with 1 star on it, you have to have 100 points or more. If you have 2 stars in the silver, 150, 3-star silver, 250, and so on. The range that we got is, we had a score of 505. So, we're in the middle of a 1st star gold and a 2nd star gold. We're going to be earning the 1st star gold because it's in the range between 400 and 600, because we have 505. Can use this data to make an inequality between 400 and 600, because that is a 1-star gold medal. So, for an inequality, we're gonna say that you have to have at least 400 is going to be less than or equal to X, which can be less than or equal to 599. The reason why 599 and not 600 is because if you get exactly 600 points, then you would get a 2-star gold medal. But this inequality is a 1-star gold medal. So, we have 505 inserted in for X, which means it works because it's greater or equal to 400 and is less than or equal to 599. Your score depends on what medal you get in the game, and your score inserted in the X is going to fit at least one of these equalities or inequalities. Which one is it? Type in the comments below what your score is and what medal you got in Big Brain Academy. So with the inequalities we have right here, we have a bunch of scores that came in from around the world, and we're going to put them into a histograph. A good place to put them is not only you can use a pen, pencil, or marker on a piece of paper, but a good site we can use is called Numworks, and they actually sell calculators, which is $99 each. But it's actually really good because it can calculate a lot of different things. And since we're calculating the mode, or to use the let's get started.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
So here, we put every number we have that is on this piece of paper and put them into our calculator or numWorks, and we have a lot of them. So what we're going to be doing is taking a look at the histogram and see what the majority score on the game Big Brain Academy. So we have the histogram right here, but they're by 200 each, which is actually what we want. But they are by 200 each because it's exactly what we want. And they actually met the inequalities, and not only that, the scores that you get in the game for each medal is actually by 200, because first, second, and third aren't by 200, but first gold, second gold, and third gold, the differences are actually each by 200. So, the red lines represent the frequency, or how many people out of the entire test got the scores. So, 3 people got a score between 0 and 100. 5 people got a score of 100 to 200, and so on. So, some people did well, and some people did below 100 to get a medal. Not only this calculator can do histograms, it can also show boxes, which we'll learn about later, and statistics, like the mean or the average is 512, which is around a gold medal. And it can also calculate what the median is, which is 500, or the sum of all values. So it can do a lot of things, not just a histogram, or calculate like a normal calculator. So this is what our histogram looks like. Lines that are touching, and each have a different inequality. Each box has a different inequality. So for example, from the range of 800 and between 1,000, there are 2 lines in here. And we can calculate that someone that got a score of 800 to 900, or 899, that is one person. And from 900 to 999, we have 4 people. So people in the range of here and here, 5 people got a 3rd star gold medal. So here is an example of what a histogram looks like. I hope this video has helped you. Thank you for watching Top Airlines Math Industry. Like and subscribe!